In the early summer of 1764, in the rugged Gévaudan region of France, a young woman tending cattle was approached by a nightmare. A massive, wolf-like creature lunged from the forest. Her bulls charged the beast, driving it back and saving her life. She described a monster larger than a wolf, with reddish fur and a black stripe down its back, unlike any predator known to the peasants. The luck of the first encounter did not hold. Weeks later, 14-year-old Jeanne Bolette was found partially devoured. This marked the beginning of a reign of terror. Within months, more children and women were targeted. The attacks were characterized by a chilling precision. The creature ignored the livestock, specifically hunting humans, and often decapitating its victims. As the body count rose, panic gripped the province. The beast seemed to possess supernatural speed and intelligence, striking in one village and appearing miles away shortly after. Survivors spoke of its glowing eyes and its ability to stand on its hind legs. The French press picked up the story, transforming a regional problem into a national sensation that reached the ears of King Louis XV. Embarrassed by the chaos in his realm, Louis XV dispatched Captain Diamel and a troop of elite dragoons to Gévaudan. They organized massive hunts involving thousands of local men. Despite their military discipline and firepower, the beast eluded them with ease, slipping through their lines like a ghost. Diamel's failure only added to the creature's growing myth of invincibility. The king offered a massive reward for the beast's head, attracting professional hunters from across Europe. The marshes and mountains were swarmed by men seeking fortune. However, the beast continued to strike, often appearing just outside the perimeter of the hunting parties. The peasants began to whisper that the creature was not a mere animal, but a loup-garou, a werewolf. Replacing the disgraced dragoons, the king sent the renowned wolf hunters, the de Navels. Jean Charles and his son were experts who had killed thousands of wolves. They spent months tracking the predator, but even their expertise was mocked by the beast. It seemed to recognize traps and avoid poisoned bait, continuing its bloody work with a terrifying calculated frequency. In August 1765, Mary Ganvalet and her sister were attacked while crossing a river. Unlike many before her, Mary Gan fought back. She plunged a bayonet-tipped staff into the creature's chest. The beast retreated, howling in pain. She survived to tell the tale, and the Maid of Gévaudan became a symbol of resistance against the darkness that haunted the woods. Frustrated by the de Neveu's failure, the king sent his personal gun-bearer, François Antoine. In September 1765, Antoine shot a massive gray wolf near the Abbey of Chases. The animal was huge, and many believed the nightmare was over. The carcass was stuffed and sent to Versailles. The king declared the beast dead, and the official military presence was withdrawn from the region. The celebration was short-lived. Just as the winter of 1765 set in, the attacks resumed with even greater ferocity. The Wolf of Chases had been a large wolf, but it was not the true beast. The killings were now more frequent, and the victims were once again found in the same horrific state. The king, however, refused to send more help, unwilling to admit that the first beast was an error. With the king's official declaration of victory, the people of Gévaudan were left to fend for themselves. The local nobility, led by the Marquis d'Ypres, took matters into their own hands. They realized that if they didn't stop the creature, their province would be depopulated by fear and death. A final local hunt was organized, funded by the desperate survivors of the terror. Among the local hunters was a mysterious man named Jean Chastel. He was a devout but eccentric figure who had once been imprisoned. On June 19, 1767, Chastel joined a large hunting party in the forest of Tazix. Unlike the other hunters, he sat calmly in a clearing, reading his Bible, confident that the beast would come to him if he relied on his faith and his unique ammunition. Legend says Chastel had melted down silver medals of the Virgin Mary to cast his bullets. As he sat reading, the beast suddenly emerged from the brush. It didn't charge. It stood and stared at him. Chastel finished his prayer, closed his book, and fired. The shot was true, piercing the creature's heart. The Beast of Gévaudan fell dead at his feet, and this time, it did not get up. The creature's carcass was brought to the Marquis d'Ypres' castle. An autopsy revealed a monstrous animal. Its stomach contained the remains of its last human victim. It had a massive head, elongated fangs, and a strange, non-wolf-like anatomy. Some descriptions suggested a hyena, or a prehistoric survivor, while others noted its hide was so thick it had deflected previous shots. Historians estimate that between 1764 and 1767, the beast was responsible for over 200 attacks, resulting in approximately 113 deaths. It remains one of the most prolific serial-killing animals in history. The scars on the survivors and the empty chairs in peasant cottages served as a grim testament to the 3 years of horror that had nearly broken the spirit of the region. What was the beast? Theories range from a large menacing wolf to a striped hyena imported from Africa. Others suggest it was a hybrid, a cross between a wolf and a large mastiff, specifically trained to kill humans. The description of its reddish coat and the black stripe along its spine does not match any wolf native to 18th century France, leaving the biological identity a mystery. A dark theory persists that the beast was controlled by a man. Some suspect Jean Chasteil's own son, or a local hermit, had tamed a foreign predator and set it upon the populace. This would explain the creature's lack of fear toward humans and its uncanny ability to avoid military traps. In this version, the beast was not a monster of nature, but a weapon of human malice. After the autopsy, the rotting carcass was sent to Paris to show the king. However, by the time it arrived, the smell was so unbearable that the king ordered it buried immediately without seeing it. The remains were lost to history, depriving modern scientists of the chance to perform DNA testing and finally identify the creature that had terrified a nation. The Beast of Gévaudan became a permanent fixture in French folklore. It has inspired countless books, films, and legends. It represents the primal fear of the unknown that lurks in the dark forests. The story serves as a bridge between the medieval world of monsters and the modern world of scientific inquiry, where every monster must have a name and a cause. The rugged terrain of Gévaudan played a crucial role in the beast's success. The deep valleys, dense forests, and rocky outcrops provided perfect cover for an ambushed predator. The isolation of the mountain villages meant that help was always hours or days away, allowing the beast to strike and vanish before any organized defense could be mounted. For those who survived an encounter with the beast, the psychological toll was immense. Many lived the rest of their lives with disfiguring scars and a paralyzing fear of the woods. The Maid of Gévaudan, Mère Jeanne Vallée, was hailed as a hero, but the memory of the creature's hot breath and yellow eyes haunted her and her community for generations. Modern cryptozoologists suggest the beast might have been a subspecies of wolf that is now extinct, or perhaps an escaped exotic animal from a private menagerie. The 18th century was a time of global exploration, and it is entirely possible that a leopard or hyena found its way into the French countryside, where its unfamiliar appearance fueled the supernatural legends. At the time, the church viewed the beast as a scourge of God, sent to punish the people for their sins. This interpretation added a layer of spiritual terror to the physical danger. Sermons were preached calling for repentance, and many peasants believed that only through prayer and divine intervention, like Chasteil's silver bullets, could the monster be defeated. The Marquis d'Ypres emerged as the true leader of the region. While the king in far-off Versailles grew bored with the story, the Marquis stayed and fought. His dedication to his people and his willingness to organize the final, successful hunt proved that local knowledge and determination were more effective than the royal army's brute force. Today, statues of the beast in Mère Jeanne Vallée stand in the villages of the Auvergne region. These monuments serve as a reminder of the time when the line between myth and reality was blurred. Tourists visit the area to walk the same paths where the beast once hunted, looking into the shadows of the trees and wondering if anything still watches from the dark. The Beast of Gévaudan remains the ultimate monster story, because it is true. The bodies were real, the fear was documented, and the mystery remains unsolved. It reminds us that even in an age of enlightenment, there are corners of the world where the ancient terrors of the forest still hold sway, and where the howl of a wolf can still chill the heart.